Here's my bike, how I rode the gravel ride. So it's a giant Anthem. It's got 90mm rear travel, 100mm front. Obviously it's a cross-country mountain bike. It's a really good bike. I've had this bike actually coming up 5 years. So I've got big knobbly tyres on it. I ran them at about 40 psi. But she's a 2.4 on the front. So a bit of excess rubber there. The other thing is my suspension's permanently on. So there used to be a lockout lever up here on the handlebar, and I took it off because typically I only use this in the trails, so I didn't need to ever really lock out the suspension up until the weekend, of course. So where I really got in trouble was the long road sections where gravel bikes had the gearing and the rigidity. So it's been a good bike, but not perfect for gravel riding. You can see where I carry my spare tube here. So considering how my bike was, I'm pretty happy with how it went. That's as it is, race ready. Right, here we are at the start. 7:17, we're off at 7:45, so the 100k's already left. We got the 64k. I was worried everyone would be on these fancy gravel bikes, but there's a lot of mountain bikes here, which is good. It's cold, but not as cold as I thought it would be. So we've got about half hour, and we're into it.
4, 3, 2, 1.
And off we go. So I kind of went a bit to the front. You can see how many bikes ahead of me, maybe 15 or so. Just coming out of the showgrounds in Tenterfield. This lady here ended up winning, actually, the one I've just overtaken. You'll see a lot more of her during this. I didn't read the course map. Maybe I should have, so I didn't really know what I was getting myself into, going in kind of blind. So we leave the showgrounds here. And the first 7 or so K is actually on bitumen roads. Now this is where having a dual suspension mountain bike is of a disadvantage. Bouncing up and down the road with my 100mm travel. Everyone's just trying to position, as am I. And you can see there's quite a few mountain bikes. This guy's actually on a single speed. He ended up beating me. So a bit of a downhill section. Just getting as low as I can. I constantly ran out of gears, so I couldn't spin anymore. From the showgrounds, it was pretty well uphill for the first 5-6k. 4.5k in. As always, gone out too hard. Going out hard's just the way I race. Alright, small pack ahead. Just gotta let them go. Or I won't get through this. This is definitely a time I wish I'd had a more rigid bike. Very hilly through here, as I'm finding out. You can see my suspension there bouncing up and down. So that's energy wasted. There's been a lot of rain around this neck of the woods, so we go through heaps of these little rivery sections, whatever you want to call them. First serious climb. So these bitumen climbs starting to get caught by all the gravel bikes. First woman just went past me. Looking very fresh. Oh, has to go down here at some point. Yeah. It's all these e-bikes coming past. God, give anything for one of them right there. So the e-bikes actually started with the whole bunch. They didn't have their own start. So there was heaps of e-bikes amongst our race and also in the results. All right, coming into the first bit of gravel. The e-bikes were in the overall results, so I reckon they should have divided them. Right. Onto the gravel finally. All right. Oh, look at that. Now, I am a racer, so when I enter these events, I always have a crack at it. So I'm racing, my heart rate's high. You're all right, mate? Also 1,000 cattle grids we had to get over. Little bunch just up the road there, I'm trying to get onto them. So it was pretty loose over hard. So coming into some of these corners was a bit sketchy. And I always say I'm up against the purists here, and by that I mean there'd be cyclists here who probably just ride 12 hours a week. I'm a multi-sporter. I only ride my bike twice a week, maybe 3 hours. Hold the first girl again. Jumping on a gravel bike down here. Camera keeps moving. So I reckon I'm going alright considering that. It's probably making an excuse. But I run and swim and paddle too, as all of you know. This was a real fun section. So I rode quite a bit with this bloke. He was also on a dual suspension mountain bike. We probably rode the first half together. You can see my legs spinning there. I'm just out of gears. So my dilemma is, do I need a gravel bike? Oh, this is so slippery. 40 psi. Alternatively, put the lock-on back on my bike and put some more gravel-specific tyres on. Would that make a big enough difference? I don't know. Check out that view. So Tenterfield's about 800 metres above sea level, so it's quite a bit cooler than being at home in Brisbane. It was good for racing. So by this point, got no idea where I am, as in position-wise. See that big fat tyre on the front there? All the locals coming out and giving a bit of support, which was very cool. Pushing straight into a headwind here. Trying to get on these two ahead of me, I just can't bridge it. I caught this bloke, and we also ended up riding together for probably the next 20k. He's on a hardtail mountain bike. And that was the first bit of gravel section, so back onto the sealed road. And again, this is where the gravel bikes really shine. Gravel bike out the front here, and I'm spinning out. Let's see if I can get on. So I'm really pushing, trying to get on the back of these two, but I'm just out of gears. The dude on the gravel bike sitting on the front, he's just pedaling away nicely. So I reckon this is the fastest part of the course, doing 42k an hour. Downhill, tailwind. Cannot pedal any quicker. Small bunch of us here, all on mountain bikes. The gravel bikes are ahead of us. We got the real champions amongst us. So we're at 31k, so I suspect there's going to be a lot of uphill ahead of us. So let's see what happens. We've been more on bitumen than dirt though, that's for sure. Come the fast bikes.
So there's that girl again up there in the blue top. So we were going back and forth past each other for most of the day. As soon as she got onto the bitumen, of course, she came into her own. This guy in front of me in the black, we ended up finishing the race next to each other. He's actually 62. He won the 60 plus age group. He was strong.
You're right. Deeper than I thought. Jesus. Apparently we've got a 12k climb coming up. This could be the start, who would know?
So we're all wondering when this 12k climb's going to come.
We've got a good little bunch formed here.
We'd read it, heard about it, but you never really know when and where you're on it. Because at this stage it's been more undulating and a bit more gravel, of course. Now we turn here, this is the second food station on the left hand side we just passed. We go down through another creek bed and then the climb begins. So this is the start of the 12k.
Alright, we're at 44k. Only 20k to go. Still waiting for that 12k climb. And the boys are back together. Yeah. You shot off there, what happened?
Oh, just changed the muscle set, stood up for a bit.
Did you? Yeah. It must be uphill now, we've only got 20 to the finish, so...
Yeah.
So you heard me there, it's only 20 to the finish and we still had this 12k climb. So we knew it was coming. This guy in the white shirt, he's pretty well on a road bike from what I could tell, just with some small knobbly tyres on it. And here's this young lady again who ended up winning the women's race. She wasn't quite as good on the actual gravel section, so we caught her again.
What do you reckon, this is the climb?
Still talking about this bloody climb, when does it start? But actually we are on it now. You can hear that creak in the front of my bike. I don't know if it was the GoPro mount or what it was driving me insane. This is steep here, can't tell. And here's my riding buddy for the last 20k. We were working pretty well.
Pretty certain we're on this 12k climb. About 2.5k into it. So it's and then it should be all downhill to the finish.
So I looked at my speedo at the bottom at 44k.
This is the make or break. We've separated now, this little group I'm in.
So I knew I had to 56k to the top, so I kept counting the k's off. Actually helped, I think, knowing how far I'd been or how far I got to go. This guy ahead's one of the earlier gravel boys. He took off on the sealed road section.
7k an hour.
When it starts getting a bit steep, maybe the gearing on the mountain bike could be of a bonus here. slight relief, little tiny bit of downhill section. For about 10 seconds, I reckon. And then bang, up we go again. I don't know why the GoPro doesn't show the steepness of hills.
Oh, I'm in granny gear.
This by far was the hardest section of the whole ride.
5k an hour.
There was 3 big dippers, let's call it, which were just granny gear, pushing as hard as you can, just trying not to fall off your bike.
And headwind.
A lot of people jumped off and pushed. Thankfully, I managed to stay on.
One of those e-bikes just shot past me. 100 mile an hour. Oh. Very cruel when these e-bikes go past.
So this is where e-bikes really do well in the steep hill section. 250 watts on their side. Just watch them disappear into the distance.
Not sure if you can see the bikes up that hill, but that's where we're going. Someone pushing their bike. Oh, just gotta ride it.
This was actually the steepest hill.
Oh, this looks like a really steep bit.
23%. So the guy next to me got off and started pushing, and I just thought, Christ, by the time I dismount, I might as well just keep seeing if I can push it to the top. It does flatten out ever so slightly here.
Oh shit.
So I was pretty happy I actually managed to climb that section.
Oh, please be the biggest hill.
And it was. Asked this dude if it was the top.
Is this the top?
His response was,
Pretty close to it, except for the next hill. That doesn't sound very positive. Oh no, we got another one.
so this was another one of the big climbs.
Oh, fuck.
Not having a lot of fun by this point.
Oh, Jesus. I don't have much left.
It's only 12k, but when you're averaging under 10k an hour, it takes a long time to get through it. This one section probably took up to an hour. So it was over 1,200 metres of climbing. And I think 700 metres of it was just in this section. You can hear the buzz of his e-bike come past me there. I was actually having a bit of a battle with this guy. Bit of to and fro.
At least it's only e-bikes passing me. Oh, come on. Gotta be at the top.
And it just kept going up. Frustrating. You reckon you can see the top of the hill, but you get there and there's more.
Oh, it's gotta be the top. Please. All the e-bikes. Jesus. Disheartening.
I think this is about, I don't know, 6-8 e-bikes caught me by now. They're chatting away as they're riding away. These dudes are doing 100k.
12 to go.
So they started catching us. These are the elite guys, I would say, in the 100k, making it look easy.
Get on the back of these e-bikes.
Easy to say. I thought if I could just get on the back of these bikes, you know, but you just can't gap it.
Oh, I'm done. Oh, looks like it's still going up. Fuck.
The fun had completely left the party by this time. And there's this dude on the e-bike again. On the slightly flatter sections, I managed to catch him. But as it gets steeper,
When's it gonna stop going up? Oh, I was trying to draft off that e-bike.
I was somewhat of a broken man by this point, as you can probably hear.
At 54k, 10 to go, and at 56k this climb is supposed to stop. Oh God, I hope so.
Sections through here, you feel like you're the only person out there. Let's see another rider.
These are all the 100k guys on their gravel bikes, starting to catch me. Oh, the uphill's supposed to be over. Oh, I'm done with this. Stopped having fun now. This is it. Right, this is where we came up on this. I think it's all downhill. Almost 57 k's, about 7k to go.
So this is the bitumen road we originally rode up. And here he is again, my mate. So although he pushed up one of those hills, he managed to pull back on. He was good to ride with. Coming into one of the final corners now, back in town. And there's 3 e-bikes ahead of us. All I want to do is get past them. They're the ones who caught me going up the hill.
62. How old are you? 62. We're right then, alright? Yeah. Doesn't matter. You'd be winning your age group for sure. Oh yeah. I'm worried about all my kids. Oh no, he's 4 miles back. Mate, he's what's that on that gravel bike? Yeah. We need to get ahead of these gravel bikes.
So I just wanted to get around these 3. And then it's 2 right-hand turns. And you're onto the main oval of the showgrounds and through to the finish. Felt quite satisfying going past them again. They wind out at 25k now, those e-bikes, as in their motor disengages, so it's where we get a slight advantage.
Jonah, good riding.
So Jonah and I are best mates by this point. Coming into the finish. I don't think anyone told this woman there was a bike race on.
Nice work, mate.
And Jonah and I pretty well crossed the line together.
Well done. Did it.
GoPro's sort of shaken up, looking at the sky.
No worries.
You feeling alright?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Good stuff.
As good as can be expected.
Yeah.
Thanks, mate. Cheers. Well, it was 65k and tough, but awesome.
All right, so just checking out the results here. 2 hours, 48 minutes, 43 seconds. 1,200 meters of elevation. 1,200 meters of elevation, am I reading that right? I really should have brought my glasses. 1,900 calories, so anyway, that was a tough little ride. And glad it's over and glad I did it. And there's the finish chute there, so wait for Amanda to come screaming under there. She'd be loving this, she's hard, that girl. Woohoo!
How'd you go?
Oh, all right, yeah. It was,
It's not an infinite guy.
yeah. It was, that climb was horrendous.
I didn't make it.
Didn't you? No,
was
most
like-
people were pushing.
I was like about 20 meters from the top. I was so close.
Did you love it?
I did, I loved it.
Well done.
That downhill was so fun, but I ran out of gears.
Yes, everyone did.
Yeah. I was like,
Oh, look
That's
at you
great.
smiling. So on the results, I was 14th overall, but 3 ahead of me were e-bikes. So as I said earlier, I reckon they should have had their own listing for the finishing. But anyway, they didn't. So if you take them out, I was 11th and 5th in the 50 to 59. So 4 blokes ahead of me. So 11th overall, again, as a non-purist who only rides a couple of days a week, I was pretty stoked with that. So fantastic event. The organisers absolutely nailed it. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next year.